The topic for today is what will people think? I mean, this is all have these topic. This one has particularly been bothering us forever, for everyone, I guess. It's become like the invisible prison. And imagine how it is for children. You know, it initially it appears like a lesson in the social environment. Behave properly. What will people say? What will people think? Look, everybody is watching you. Don't create a scene here. Don't talk loud. Don't talk soft. Endless of these. But beneath this lesson, somewhere we begin to learn about abandoning myself. I become second priority. People become the first priority. We learn to begin pleasing people. Now let's think about it. A baby, 1, 2 year old, they are not born worrying about what people say, worrying about their reputation. They are just happy dancing in public, singing loudly, running here, not feeling uncomfortable at all. But somewhere they begin to pick up this fear of judgment, fear of being separated. What will people think of you? Now, ask it little deeply. What will really people think of me? Let's say if I sing in public, if I'm at a bus stop and I'm singing loudly. I used to feel it. My mother never said it. She loved to sing. We are traveling by bus. The minute she gets down to sit, she would start singing quite loudly, you know, and she would just get lost in it, and I would be feeling uncomfortable. What will people think? Obviously, she never taught me that, but somewhere people had ingrained, what is that people will think of you. They may think you are mad, so what? They may think you are crazy, so what? The survival, the brain learned to survive. That is the coping mechanism that's coming from long time in the human history. Somewhere we had to belong together to survive as a tribe. But singling myself out was abandonment, rejection. Now there are a lot of people, even like 100 years ago, if they left the town, if they left the country, they were not allowed back in the village. They were like out on exile. You have crossed 7 seas, so you have become apavitra, so you are not allowed. You know, so things like that were there. Singling out, doing something separate, then you did not belong to the community. So do what the community does. The need for belonging, genuine human need is that, the need for belonging. The child wants that attachment, wants that acceptance. And somewhere we begin to say that if you want to belong, you need to get approval of people. You just cannot feel that you belong because you exist. Existence is not the criteria. People accepting it is criteria. These days you see many children kind of defying, doing things on their own, not listening. And again you hear, oh my God, children these days are bad. They don't listen to us anymore. Parents have not been teaching them. Mother is also like that only. Lot of this, and we don't want to hear. We want to be part of that group. Right? So what I need to understand here is a temporary feeling of belonging, temporary feeling of acceptance versus continuous happiness that is coming from right understanding. All of us need that continuous happiness. Somewhere this approval creates pleasant feelings. Yeah, I'm part of this group. But then understanding it creates stability. For example, I was at one of these groups which is chanting Vishnu Sahasranam. I like chanting, so I went there, and they started talking about, how you should not show your like palm, because people are going to grab your fingerprints from there, and they're going to access your smartphones, and then your bank accounts are empty. A lot of things are going around, how cyber crimes about frauds are happening, and they're just talking, oh my god, these phones and my finger, I don't know what is in my finger, all that. They're about 60 plus ladies, and I would have jumped to judging them, you know but I could have chosen to educate them a little bit more, that I know, but I chose to be quiet at that point. It was with understanding that we do not have much time. We could get into this conversation endlessly, but we need to begin the chanting on time. So I would rather just observe my own thoughts and just accept it, right? That was coming from understanding, so I did not judge. So, so when we do things out of understanding, then there is neither approval nor judgment. Let them be as they are. So, as a child, I don't need to constantly look up for approval. Constantly, we are thinking, am I accepted? Am I good enough? Do they like me? Did I do enough to impress them? So, when I start operating out of understanding, okay, they are that way, the way they are because of whatever reason, and I am this way, can I allow them to live the way they are, and can I live the way I want? At least with a few of my acquaintances to begin with, right? Then the child may begin to ask, instead of saying, did I do something right? Did I do something right? Not to impress, but because it was truly right for me and for others. Was this beneficial? Is it true? Or is it aligned with my values? Is it morally right? Is it not so socially accepted? I don't go with that, but socially good. What I'm doing is beneficial to me and to you and the society at large. So if a child can begin to question in that direction, then you can see this self acceptance coming, self approval coming. There was an interview I saw of an elderly person. He was 70 plus, and he was like happy, simply sitting, enjoying by himself, doing whatever he was doing. And then the interview was like, how come you're so happy? And he was like, I just do what I like to do. And because I like what I like to do, I think others also like to do what they like to do. So let them. Right? What's the problem? But the problem is understanding that I belong because I exist, not because I have this need to belong because of people approving me. So, somewhere I need to shift that authority I've given away to people around me to within me. To within me, right? So, my role of as an adult, as a parent, is not to shape children the way society wants, but to understand that each one of us is very, very unique, and we unfold in our own way, and I want to respect that. Respect the becoming of the human being. So, the need to belong comes naturally, and I do not have to do anything extra to feel that. Otherwise, I can become disconnected from myself. That is where self abandonment comes. I don't even know what I want anymore. If you look at some um, people in joint families or elderly people, you can say they want it, everybody wants it, so I do it for them. My needs are the last ones because it's additional work. I don't want to hear people saying that I did not like it. I want to hear people say I like it, so I abandon my own interests. I stop expressing so I get acceptance. It may be externally I feel happy, but internally I'm exhausted. I get exhausted over a period of time. So I need to recognize that belonging is natural to human existence, and that should not create fragile systems. My brain has to go into exploration mode, not into the protection mode. Understand, in this modern world, in the nuclear families, when we are so rushed to get so many things done on our own, we could use this as a disciplinary tool. We could use it against, what will people say if you don't perform well? What if your marks fall down? No, many children want to be on social media because what will the friends think of me if I'm not on the social media, if I don't get likes, if I don't get those comments? So I have this imaginary audience now. I mean, I don't even know who is following me. I don't even know who said that like to me. I don't even know many of the friends requests I receive, but I want to please them. And many of the stories, the stunts that people make to take these pictures or videos and post them on the reel just because they get those likes. So somewhere we are creating this chronic self-consciousness, unable to get out of it, right? So we need to become aware of this thought, recognizing in my own self, begin talking about it, begin observing how I behave when I get this thought, and begin observing that in the child. Is a child hiding? Is a child suppressing? Is a child not asking that question because of the worry? Is a child afraid to make mistakes, look different, wear something different? Children don't wear raincoats. It's pouring out there, the bags get wet, books get wet, but they don't wear raincoats, right? Again, the fear of what will people think. So beware of being this perfect person, people pleasers, fear of failures, what will people think? It's dangerous to feel, and eventually losing that moral courage to speak up. And that is what we need to be aware and become like this guiding light to the children. Become come to this sense of practicing it myself. The minute I get this thought, what do people think of me? If you have children around you, just say it, I'm worried as to what people think of me, but I'll still do it. And this is what I did today. I don't know what people thought of me. These are the people I might never see ever again, but it gives me so much of happiness because I voiced my concerns, I voiced my doubt. Become that guiding, like a sun, like North Star, where children look up to us. Children learn through imitations by looking up to us. Children love to approach us if we are loving authority. So if I can give my children saying you are safe to discover yourself, it's important to understand yourself, then I and my child are growing together. And that's a beautiful experience one can have. Good luck.